Want to know the AI tool that saves me over $10,000 a month and has replaced basically 4 team members? So today I'm going to be talking about the brand new Claude Cowork and how it's changing the game for AI and small businesses. Now, usually it's only big companies that have access to this type of capability, but now it has made it so accessible for the everyday small business owner or Etsy shop founder or author, entrepreneur to be able to leverage the AI powers of a big company. And there's really no better time to be in the game than now. Now, you might be asking, oh my God, Gloria, I'm not a tech person. I don't know how to code. Is this going to be technical? Don't worry, I am not a tech person. Spreadsheets make me want to scream. I am an Asian that's bad at math, so this episode is absolutely for you. What you need to know, that AI is evolving so fast that you have no reason to not be embracing your business and work in a much more effective and scalable way. You might have heard of Claude, right? Claude is owned by Anthropic. There's actually a big debate right now because there's a whole movement called Quit ChatGPT because of ChatGPT's involvement with the US government. We won't get into the ethics of that, but Claude basically emerged as kind of this hero, right? It's saying that it's not going to share information, it's going to not have ads. And so from a values-based perspective, there's a lot of people now finally paying attention to Claude, something that I have used now for almost 2 years and has drastically changed my business. Now, in the beginning, I used Claude mainly for marketing. Claude is much better at having emotion and having writing that doesn't feel as flat as ChatGPT. And so I kind of use both the same. I use it, I prompt it, and it's mainly a text-based input and output, kind of chatting with a bot. And now what Claude Cowork has unleashed for all of us, it's the ability to do things independently. So actually click on things in my screen, run reports, draft emails. And I'm going to talk about the 4 ways that Claude Cowork has saved me over $10,000 a month and the 4 roles that it plays in my business that I used to have to hire people for tons and tons of money to do. So I'm going to explain what Claude Cowork is, how it's different than ChatGPT and some of the other things out there, what people mean when they say AI agents or agentic AI, and the 4 roles that it helps me do in my business. So let me explain in simple, plain language. Most people think AI is just writing tools. So there's a prompt box, you type something, it spits out something, maybe it analyzes an Excel spreadsheet, maybe it reads an email, drafts it for you. And that's how most people use things like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity. Claude is, again, like I said, really good at working with large amounts of information, and it's just become so advanced that it allows to synthesize large amounts of information in different formats in such a quick amount of time. For example, on Claude Cowork and Claude, basic Claude, you can upload things from Google Drive, you can connect it with Airtable, Notion, Zapier, Calendly, and so because of all of the integrations, it's just far more robust than all of the other things. It allows more connections and it allows you to basically not have to manually upload and find something and then tell it. It kind of does it for you. And so Claude can read all that information at once and do it in a really quick way for you to analyze it. So instead of just writing text manually, copy, pasting, upload it, it helps you understand your business in all its dimensions and forms and all the different things where it lives, whether it's your data, your sales, your customer tone of voice, even crawling Instagram. And it allows you to kind of have this hub to be able to do all those things and make decisions at once. And so that's why I call it my AI coworker, not just a chatbot. So you might be thinking, well, what exactly does that mean? What is agentic AI? And agentic AI just means that unlike traditional AI tools that answers questions for you, when you type something, it responds. AI agents helps you actually complete tasks. So instead of just giving you text, it can actually click on Instagram, it can scroll in the analytics tab and see in the 90 days, it can draft a report of your highest and least performing posts, it can give you recommendations, it can actually draft emails for you so that it's sitting in the drafts folder based on your sales conversation, and all these powerful things that usually you would need to hire people for, spend a lot of time to do. So instead of thinking about AI as a tool, think of it as a digital team going to work for you. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, ChatGPT also has a lot of capabilities. How is it different than Claude? Now, other than Claude being a better writing and marketing tool, which is what I've used it for all of our captions, our emails, with Claude Cowork, I'm able to replace 4 different team members. So ChatGPT is more of an information synthesis, input, output, more like a writing assistant. But Claude actually does things for you autonomously, navigating your screen without you having to do it. And so again, ChatGPT is amazing for things like brainstorming and writing captions and what's the recipe and crunch these numbers, kind of simple input, output things. But Claude actually remotely, independently opens screens, looks at tabs, can monitor and scroll through pages for you so that it can analyze information without you having to give it to it in the perfect format. So for example, it can pull up all of my sales data in the last 90 days and then compare it. It can pull up my YouTube analytics by opening the YouTube Studio dashboard. It can actually translate all of the recordings from my sales calls and then instantly spit out a personalized email based on the discussion I have, and then actually sits in the drafts folder with hyperlinks so that I can follow up, and all I have to do is press send. So it's really, really cool because it does all of these things without you having to manually upload and type in. So that's really what it's powerful for, and that's what I mean by agentic. So you might be asking, well, Doesn't ChatGPT have a version of it? Well, ChatGPT does have Canvas, but it's not quite as powerful as Claude Cowork. What Canvas does is it actually kind of is like a Google Docs with AI sitting next to you. You write something, it helps you like draft it, optimize it, but you're still doing the work. Now, Claude Cowork is inherently different because it's very good at helping you analyze information, workflows, and pulling things and data without you having to feed it the perfect structure. Now, before I move on, I want to talk about Perplexity because a lot of you are like, well, Gloria, don't you love Perplexity? I still use Perplexity. It's replaced my Google. Perplexity has single-handedly changed the game for AI. I talk about this a lot. And it's trained on my pitch writing method. So for AI angles, editorials, citations, I still absolutely start with Perplexity. Perplexity is the best information gathering tool. So it actually goes out and hunts for what people are talking about, what's the media sentiment, and it discovers all of the news trends and headlines. I'm talking about with ChatGPT, Claude, and Cowork is very different. I'm talking about now working in the business to execute tasks for me. And Claude Cowork is the highest, most agentic way to do that seamlessly. The first thing that Claude Cowork has replaced that has allowed me to save thousands of dollars is it acts as my social media manager and marketing ops manager. So what does that mean? It means that it's able to pull Instagram analytics. It's able to analyze my best, worst content and repurpose them to repost with the hooks, the options, the actual text on screen and captions that I should write based on data. And what it also does is that it can comb through my unreplied to comments across Meta. So it's Facebook, it's any screen and says, hey, this person commented and you didn't respond, or this person commented 5 times in the last 2 days. It means that they're a really warm lead. They're really interested in your information. You should follow up with them. So this is very powerful because it's getting data from my social media and engagement, and it's giving me a picture of who I should engage with and who I should follow up with, right? It also picks up on things that I've missed. And also can actually go into your DMs. So it actually opens an external browser. As long as you log in, it combs through your DMs and it can tell you, well, these are the people that you've reached out to that haven't responded, or you can ask it anything you want. So this is something that usually you had to have a social media manager or a virtual assistant to do, but it actually crawls into your DMs and actually finds out patterns for you. So this is really cool. It tells me I've learned so much about in the 90 days what content I should keep doing more of, what resonates with my audience, and how can I repurpose some of my old contents so that it has a better hook. And it's done that for me within minutes, as opposed to having a human trying to analyze it and look at every single one and then brainstorming what they think. AI with Claude Cowork has been able to do that for me. So it takes the guesswork out of it. It doesn't require me to upload tons and tons of screenshots of all of the reels that I posted in 90 days because it can just crawl it on its own. So that's really amazing in terms of being my marketing ops and social media manager to create content, to help me find what resonates, to find patterns of what works so that I can create more better content. Second thing that it's replaced is it's basically my sales manager. So what does that mean? Usually when someone books a call with you, what happens? You get on the call and then the call happens and maybe you write an email. Well, now all of this is basically automated and personalized other than you being on the sales call. Obviously, you still have to be on the sales call. What it does is it can give you, because it connects to your Google Calendar or your Calendly or whatever intake form, it gives you a snapshot of all the people you have calls with today, who they are, what their objections are, and what you should do to steer the call to the outcome that you want, whether it's to convert them to a sales, whether it's to retain them as a customer, whether it's to handle a dispute. So it's my sales manager because it guides me through all the conversations that I need to have and it preps me for the call. It can even say something like, based on this person's industry and the questions that they answered, you should really touch upon these 3 points and bring up this testimonial. Boom. So powerful, right? I don't have to do that work. Claude Cowork presents it for me every day. You can create an automation that runs every day or every 2 days or at whatever frequency you want to become your sales trainer and sales prep manager. Now, after the call, if you're on a Zoom call or whatever call, you can have a Firefly's native integration. So right now, Claude allows an integration with Fireflies, which is an AI note-taking app to sit in all of your meetings and automatically pulls a transcript from whatever call you're having, whether it's a team training call or a sales call or a discovery call or whatever call. And then it basically analyzes it and then drafts the email that you should follow up with without you having to prompt it. I can say, hey, based on my calls today, draft an email response for every type of call so that we can move them to the desired action. So for my team, it might be a summary call of, here are the things that you need to do. And even though a lot of AI note takers do that, they don't actually put it into an email form sitting in the drafts folder. So this is so powerful because it actually writes the email. Now for my sales and for my leads, anything we talk about on the call, It takes a transcript, it formats the email with perfect hyperlinks on here's what to do, here's what we talked about, here are your objections, and then it overcomes the objections to be able to write a perfect, specific email following up on that actual conversation that's not templated, that's personalized to that conversation that I'm having with that human in that specific point in time, and it sits in my email drafts folder. So all I have to do is press send. Now, right now, it can't actually send the email for you. You have to do that. But by taking the transcript, analyzing it, and drafting it so that it's in my drafts folder, it has already replaced hours and hours of work because all I have to do is press send. The only limitation right now with Claude Cowork is that it only connects to one email at a time. Now, I'm hoping that by the time this gets released, or maybe in a few months, Claude will answer their customers' desires, which is how do we connect more emails? Right now, I have 3 inboxes, right? And so it only connects to one. What you can do is unplug, like disconnect, and then connect to another email inbox for it to scrape all the information. But right now, it can only connect to one inbox at a time, which helps if you can organize all of your customer emails in one inbox, for example, or sales emails in one inbox. So it helps to streamline that. And this has single-handedly replaced so much because instead of being like, oh, what did I talk about with that person? Or, oh, I need to follow up with that person. Claude does that for you. You can even say, hey, analyze all of the people that I talked to in the last 90 days and the people who I haven't followed up with, give me a list and give me a game plan and write those follow-up emails. Yes, it's that powerful. The third thing that it has replaced that has fundamentally changed my business is just being my executive assistant. So it helps with basic assistant tasks, and it also connects to your calendar, your Google Drive for list cleanup, desktop cleanup, it deletes duplicate things. I can say, can you come up with a better naming convention, or we need to organize this Google Drive. It's really messy. I'm not the most organized person. It's very messy. So it comes up with a way to delete duplicates and file them away, and also clean my desktop beautifully, which is amazing because my desktop is crazy right now. And what it does, it also connects to all of your sheets, your Google Drive, Notion, whatever you have. But the Google Calendar one is really important because you can say something like, you know what, I want you to come up with a schedule for me. I like to work between these hours. I like Mondays free. I like to, so based on your preferences, it can organize your calendar and set your availability on Google Calendar to your liking. And if you're late for a meeting, or if you want to cancel something, you can just tell Claude Cowork, and then it drafts that email and say, oh, I can see here you have a meeting with someone in 15 minutes, but if you're running late and you can't make it back from that Pilates class, I will draft an email so that you can send it right away. So that's what's so beautiful about it, is that it's your real-time executive assistant that connects to your calendar, your email, and it helps you manage your day. And I'm sure there's a lot more you can do with this, but just this is high level, like what I would use it for every day. Executive assisting me, figuring out my schedule, replying so that I can work in the way that I want, block off times, and then manage my calendar and do simple inquiries. That's what's really cool. It allows me to reschedule meetings if you run late, and also send you reminders, which is really cool. The fourth role is that it's your data analyst. So I'm not a data person. Numbers scare me a little bit, but we know that what doesn't get tracked can't grow. So you want to track and measure things. So what we have done is we measure the number of sales coming in. You can measure something very simply like number of Instagram followers you have, or number of people who visit your website, whatever that is. I'm sure you measure something in a numeric form, whether it's on a spreadsheet or a tracker. And so for us, we have a KPI tracker that has all different columns. For example, how many people joined our email list, or how many people opted in to watch my PR masterclass that explains how to get featured on AI. And you can watch that at gloriachoupr.com/masterclass. We track number of Instagram followers, number of sales that we close, number of customers, like renewals, wherever that is, it connects to those sheets, it connects to Airtable, whatever format that you have, and it gives you a picture of your data. So for example, I can ask it, out of the people in our program who have expired, what percentage renew? And if they do, how long do they renew for? And so that's really important to tell me the retention of my customer base. It can also tell you something like, based on my number of sales calls, what's my closing rate? So that way we can improve. It can also pick up on things like when you have calls with people in this industry, or if they answer questions this way, your chance of closing them or closing that sale is so much better, is so much higher. So you can start to see patterns. And so it acts as a data scientist, a data analyst, to be able to run those reports. And you can tell it to run reports for whatever you connect it to, and just have a natural conversation with it, right? I can ask even, I'm not a data analyst. What am I missing? Or what are some reports that you think that I should have you generate every single week? So don't be afraid to ask Claude Cowork what I can get out of you, because that's really cool. Claude Cowork is for desktop right now. It launched to everybody in February of 2026. I'm sure it's only going to get better and better. Right now, I do pay $100 a month for it because we use it so much between our emails and our content. I mean, we publish like 50 pieces of content a week. So for us, it's really important. So for me, the $100 a month is absolutely worth it because my whole team uses it. But you can start on the $20 a month plan, and then you can sell it for your desktop. So basically, like Claude, regular Claude has a different toggle. So you can toggle regular Claude, which we still use to write our marketing content. But then you can use Cowork, again, which is my assistant, with these 4 roles that I talked about. It's absolutely game changing. It has made AI and business efficiency, data, spotting patterns, analysis so accessible for small business owners, where usually it was reserved for bigger companies. And so in that way, I think it's absolutely amazing and it's absolutely a huge gift. I absolutely recommend you to use it because it gives you so much data analysis improvements, from sales to what patterns are you seeing in my customers, or to, time in the program or percentage of people who buy from us. Again, all of these things that usually would take you hours and hours and hours to be able to figure out. The last one, which is a bonus one, is a customer support or a community manager. So if you have a high number of customer inquiries, or if you have a Facebook group like I do with hundreds of small business owners that you're supporting, anything in a one-to-many capacity, it basically acts as your assistant. So if someone emails with a question, or if someone is in my Facebook group and something is not responded to, right? Claude helps draft that and helps me pay attention to what's missing. I can connect it to my customer portal and say, hey, here are the recent people who have joined our PR accelerator. Can you make sure that they're active in the Facebook group? If not, I'm going to give them a nudge, because we put so many amazing resources in the Facebook group. Our journalists are there. We're reviewing pitches. It really gives you really robust information that's super advanced to help you engage the right people at the right time. You want your customers to feel supported. And if you don't have a community, if you just have customer support, it's really great because it helps you draft customer support emails, the click of a button, that then you don't have to draft anything. You don't have to copy and paste. It literally drafts it for you, and then it sits in the drafts folder. You can also ask, how can I engage with my customers better? How can I engage with them so that the refund rate is lower? And what would you come up with? It comes up with a game plan for you, and it basically creates that email automation for you so that you have those touch points that's automated and that it's sitting. And so you can then put it into drafts and then schedule send. So if someone joins or buys something, you are emailing them upon purchase, but then also maybe 5 days later or 10 days later. Obviously, if you have this automated in the back end with an email software that's more robust, you can do that. But for the everyday small business owner, Etsy, Shopify, like if you don't have a big email list, is absolutely a great way to start. So that's just a simple system I use. I use Perplexity for helping our PR students get wins. We monitor what magazines are covering, how to get on podcasts, all the angles. It's trained on my CPR method. So Perplexity has replaced my Google, and it's the single-handed best PR tool out there because it's best for getting information and outbound, just outwardly discovering information in real time. But Claude Cowork has replaced so much of my business, and it's allowed me to work way more efficiently so I can spend more time engaging with you. So I can spend more time doing what I love, which is being on a podcast or speaking or teaching. AI is changing so fast. And I know it can feel so overwhelming. Oh my God, we have so many tools. But Claude Cowork has replaced so many tools, so you don't even need to chase the shiny object syndrome anymore. And it can replace so many of these standalone tools in one. So I really absolutely believe that Claude is here to stay. And so between Perplexity, Claude, and ChatGPT for basic daily things, these are the 3 things that I use every day. And Claude Cowork has single-handedly been the hub for me to be able to replace up to $10,000 in team members that I otherwise would have to pay for. So definitely give it a try and let me know. And if you want to know how to get featured in the media so that you can get found on ChatGPT, because we know that AI is pulling from these media sources, check out my PR masterclass. It's free. It's at gloriachoupr.com/masterclass, gloriachoupr.com/masterclass. No one is really sharing this information. We are single-handedly disrupting the PR industry and making it super accessible for the everyday small business underdog. Now, if you know of anyone who could benefit from this episode, please send it to them. And as always, keep going. It's your time to shine, and I cannot wait to see what you create.